guys, I am Bobby and I'm an elementary school art teacher, and I thought it would be fun to get on here and share the next project that I plan to do with my art students. So we were going to learn about this amazing artist, my favorite, called Vincent Van Gogh. I'm sure you've heard of him. A lot of kids know of him as the artist that cut his ear off. And yes, he did cut part of his ear off, as shown here in the self-portrait with a bandage, but he's also known for doing a lot of other really cool things, like painting this beautiful sunflowers painting. Most of you probably know about this painting called Starry Night. That's probably his most famous painting. Van Gogh is really, he has a really interesting life. You can read books. This book is great. It's called Vincent Van Gogh, Portrait of an Artist. You can get any kind of video or book about him. There's lots available because he's so famous now. The thing about Vincent is that he never sold any paintings when he was alive. I think he sold one to somebody maybe he knew. You should look him up though. He's really an interesting guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a chair. So Vincent Van Gogh did a lot of pictures from a bedroom that he had. And he tended to paint his chairs, his beds, and things around him. And so my students have been learning how to draw things three-dimensionally, like in perspective, using a vanishing point. Today's going to be pretty simple, no vanishing point, but we're still going to learn how to draw things a little bit 3D. And we're actually going to make something 3D, which is three-dimensional. We're going to make a chair, and we're going to kind of fit it into a room. So what do you need? So you're going to need paper. You're going to need a piece of paper for the background that's a little bit bigger, and then a half a sheet that's about the same width of paper. This is going to be for the floor. The third piece of paper you're going to need is a piece of paper that you can draw the chair on. And so they should all be, the background and the chair paper should be about the same size. The chair is going to be a little smaller than the room. And then you're going to need, of course, scissors to cut the chair out, a Sharpie to outline the chair, a glue stick to glue the chair down, and then something to color with. I don't care what it is. It could be colored pencils. You could actually paint the chair if you have some watercolor paints or regular paints. My students often will use oil pastels. So, and you also need a pencil to get started. So once you gather those materials, then we can get going on our chair. Now to start the chair, you'll take your white paper and you're gonna actually fold the paper in half because we need to draw our chair on half of the paper. So fold it in half and you're going to draw a shape called a trapezoid right in the middle. And we want to get the paper folded in half so we can locate where the center of the paper is. Once you find the center, then you're going to draw a shape called a trapezoid. Now, you're probably wondering, why are we doing shapes like that? Well, that's because that's the shape of a chair when it's sitting like this, a square. When it's turned on its side, it looks like a trapezoid. So there's our chair in 3D. And so when we draw this shape, it's going to make our chair look even more 3D. So here we go. Paper fold in half, find the middle. At the top of the middle is where you're going to do your short line for, this is the back of the chair. Then you're going to draw your lines out diagonally. This is going to be the side of the chair, the seat of the chair. And then you're going to draw the longer line to connect those like that. Now, I have a philosophy. It says it doesn't have to be perfect. This does not have to be perfect. So if your trapezoid's a little crooked like mine, it's totally fine. Once you get that on there, we're going to now realize we're going to draw the top, the back of the chair here on the top, and we're going to draw the legs of the chair here on the bottom of the trapezoid. And so before we do that, though, we need to make this seat look even more 3D. And we're going to draw a little bend here. That's going to give the chair some thickness. So it's already going to look 3D before we even cut it and fold it. So this little shape, with you draw a straight line down here, and then you connect them, that is going to make your chair look thick. Now we're gonna draw the back of the chair. You're gonna draw a straight line up, and then this can get as fancy as you want. It can go straight across if you want it to. You could put a little cutout here if you want to. Some of my students get really crazy. We did a big one in one of my classes in the past, and they just went crazy drawing the back of the chair. It's totally up to you what you do for the back of your chair. Just know you're gonna have to cut it out eventually. So there's the back of the chair. Then we're gonna draw the legs straight down, and then the leg's gonna come over, and that is the front. That's gonna be the front legs of the chair. Now we're actually gonna draw the back legs on, but we're gonna end up cutting them out separately. But for now, we're gonna draw the back legs like this. So do you see how it's a little shorter? It's not actually. I mean, if you have a chair, all the legs have to be the same length, but when things are sitting down, I challenge you to actually find a chair wherever you are, look across the room, and I assure you the legs that are farther away from you are going to be shorter than the legs that are closer, because things that are farther away are smaller, things that are closer are bigger. These legs are closer to you than these, that's why they're shorter. So the next thing we're going to have you guys do is color your chair. So you find whatever colors you're going to use. Crayons are awesome too. And so once you get your chair completely colored like this, then you're going to take a Sharpie, or you can use a black crayon, and you're going to outline everything with a Sharpie. This is just going to give you some really nice clean lines. I will tell you, if you use paint, wait for your paint to dry, because if you try to Sharpie over wet paint, it will for sure ruin your Sharpie. So once you get your whole chair outlined, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut your chair out. So you're going to, if you have one of these center things, you'll cut that out too. The thing to remember with cutting out the chair is that, do you remember these back legs? You're going to want to cut those out separate. So you're actually going to cut them right off. So I'm going to cut right up around these legs. And I'm going to cut right along the bottom of my chair, and watch this. Whoops. So there's my chair. I cut the back legs off. They're still here. So I'm going to cut these out separate. And I'm going to set these little legs aside. Don't lose them. Now, this chair is ready to be folded from a flat thing to a three-dimensional thing. So think about how a chair works. So the seat folds up, right? So if you look at a chair, you have the back and the seat. They're at a 90-degree angle. And then the front of the chair, remember that little flap that we made on the front? That is going to be folded down. And then that's where your legs are going to fold down like this. Now, the next thing is when we attach this to our background, we're going to need something to glue in the front so that these front legs can stick. So we're going to need to fold a flap so that we have something to put glue on. So we're going to fold a flap on to the bottom of the legs. Try to make them about the same on both legs so that your seat isn't crooked. So that's going to be our chair. Now we need a background because we need something to put our chair on. So we're going to take our background paper. Doesn't matter. This one even has a crinkle on it, so I'm going to put that at the bottom. And we're going to add the floor. Now you're going to want your floor to maybe be a little longer than this paper so that your chair will fit. So make sure that your background paper has enough room for your chair's back. So you're going to slide the floor paper just so that it overlaps on the bottom, and that'll give you a good place to put your glue. So we're going to glue the bottom of the background paper. We're going to just put glue along the bottom, and then we're going to put this paper for the floor right on top of that. And then we're going to press everything down real tight together. And now one more thing you can do, it's not completely necessary. You can put some wood lines on your floor. You could paint them on. If you don't have brown paper, you could totally paint them on. You could do tiles or whatever you want to do. But if you wanted to do wood, like I've done on mine, and that's usually what my students will do, is you're going to take a line down the middle like this, and I will flip this up to show you. You will draw a line down the middle, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're going to start to draw these lines kind of going out to the edge of the paper. See how they kind of fan out like that? I'm going to fan them out, fan it out, fan it out, fan it out, fan it out. That's both sides. And then if you want it to look like a wood floor, you're going to do these very uneven wood slats. And whenever I try to draw something realistic, I try to look at the thing, like look at a wood floor, go online, look up wood floor, and that'll help you see. And now that already looks like it's three-dimensional. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold the wood floor up so that it's at a 90-degree angle, like this. So you have a nice floor. I'm going to take it off my clipboard here. And then you're going to attach your chair. So you're going to take your chair and you're going to set the legs down, and then you're going to scooch it back to the background paper. Try to make sure that the seat is flat. If it's up too high, your seat will be kind of diagonal and the person will slide out. So you want it to be nice and flat. Try to make sure those flaps touch the floor. Then you're going to put the glue on the back of the chair. So I'm going to take my chair off now that I have an idea of where it's going to go. I'm going to glue the back of my chair like this. I got my glue on. Going to find that sweet spot where it goes. And I'm going to glue and press. And then I'm going to glue my flaps down. So I have these little folded flaps. A little bit of glue there. And then I'm going to press the legs down to the floor like that. And then the last thing, remember those legs I said, put these aside and don't lose them. These legs are going, you put some glue on them. These legs are going to be glued way back here. Try to line it up with the edge of the chair back there. And you can kind of feel it on there. You're going to glue your legs on to the background. I'm gluing it right underneath the back of the chair. And put this one on, glue that on, and there you go. You have a three-dimensional Vincent Van Gogh-like chair. Now, just for a little enrichment, if you get this all done and you feel pretty successful, then you can go ahead and you could do any kind of artwork you want. You can hang things on the wall. You could put a little potted plant there. I've had students draw tables in 3D and some things on there. So I hope you had fun. I had fun. I love teaching art, and I hope this reaches many of you. And I hope that you can look up a lot of info on Vincent Van Gogh. I'm sure he was a great guy. I wish I could have known him, but yeah, enjoy. Thank you.